Hey everyone, Ryan Young, Kama Jiu-Jitsu. Hope you're doing well. So self-defense, is it Jiu-Jitsu? Well, it is, but it's also a number of other things as well. So here in Texas and in many other states in the Union, carrying a weapon, provided you're licensed to carry, is completely legal. In fact, here in Texas, if you're over 21 and you're a license holder, you can carry your gun in college, right? So let's say you go to a Texas public school campus like Texas A&M or UT Austin, and you attend classes, you're 21, you're a licensed concealed carry holder. Actually, they don't just carry, they call it a license to carry now. It used to be a concealed handgun license. And you can carry it in school. In fact, here's a picture of a constituent of our governor, Greg Abbott, shaking Greg's hand. You see Greg's the one sitting in the wheelchair, and you see these those pictures, or those fingers. They're all pointing to the particular gentleman's gun, which is underneath his jacket. Your self-defense is your responsibility, and what you do to protect yourself in case things go south is completely up to you. So one of the things that we do by teaching Gracie Jiu-Jitsu here, Kama Jiu-Jitsu, is to teach you how to defend yourself if you get put into an altercation. Now, will it be the be-all, end-all? Meaning, will you be able to defeat any attacker? I think you'll have a much better chance of defending an attacker, but there's always somebody who can overcome and overwhelm your defenses. Right? There just is. You know, maybe you're 4'9" and you get attacked by somebody who's 7 foot and they just pick you up and slam you. No amount of jiu-jitsu will help you there. You at least went through the steps to get yourself as fully protected as you possibly could, you as an individual, right? The goal is to increase your probabilities. Now, if we can make it so that the probability of us losing in an attack, if we can make it to 0%, that's great. Let's say the average person has maybe a 20% chance of coming out on top. Now, if you can increase it to 30%, why would you not, right? And a concealed firearm is one of those force equalizers, as they like to call them. Now, as you can see in the picture, it's an older gentleman, right? Silver-haired guy, and you can see why the governor is not threatened by it. It's not something to be threatened by. If you have a license to carry, then you can, here in Texas, you can either carry it open or concealed. This particular gentleman had it concealed, but because he was bending over to shake the hand of a wheelchair-bound gentleman in Greg Abbott, you could see where his pistol was underneath the jacket. But it's obvious. You know, I walk around here and I see people carrying. I'm never in fear. No, because why? To get a license to carry, you have to have a background check, a pretty extensive one for you to have one. And it's not easy getting one. You have to go through a lot of hoops and hurdles to get one. And, you know, once I had asked an officer, former member, lives really far away, so it was hard for him to make classes. But I asked him one day, I said, are you threatened when you pull somebody over, right? You pull somebody over and they're a licensed gun holder, right? Are you threatened by them? He says, no, right? He says, a criminal will have a gun with no license, whereas chances are, he says, the overwhelming chances are is that if you're wearing a gun and you have a gun license to carry it, then you're one of the good guys. And in fact, if I were to be, meaning if the policeman were to be in trouble, it would be a law-abiding gun holder who would possibly come and protect me and help me if I'm in distress. In fact, there was that shooting that happened here in Texas. It happened in a church about, was it New Year's Day? Might have been New Year's Day or New Year's Eve or something like that. And the guy took out a shotgun, took it out from his jacket and shot somebody. Well, he went to shoot somebody, and a churchgoer who was a licensed gun holder reached for his gun, but he wasn't fast enough. He got shot. And the security guard, who was, from what I understand, a retired cop, a retired FBI agent, he drew and he ended up killing the assailant. Well, that was only 2 shots that were fired before the original shooter was dead. But the video continued on because it was a video that was done on the church. So they were videotaping their sermons. Well, that got sent out or leaked out. However it got leaked out, probably was on some kind of network. And Within about 30 seconds after the assailant was dead, you had about 5 or 6 people come into the church with their guns. There wasn't any more shooting that went on. Those are people who were looking to end the situation. And once they saw that the threat was ended, there was nothing. There's no other shooting that went by. But these people had done the necessary training, and that is important. You know, anything that you're going to do for self-defense, you need to have necessary training. If you're going to be carrying a weapon, you need to be well versed in it, whether it be a knife or whether it be pepper spray or whether it be a gun. You have to be well versed in using it. Just like with Jiu-Jitsu, how we always try to stress you and get it to where you're automatic with it. You know, the only way to be automatic with anything is through hours and hours and hours of practice, to the point where it's second nature, right? But with regard to self-defense, you know, Jiu-Jitsu is just one tool that would be in your quiver, so to speak. Your arrow of quivers is just one of the arrows. It's a pretty good arrow, but it's still just one of the arrows, and you need to do it regularly to be able to rest assured that you're well protected. Now, you can move to a good area, but criminals, there's no barrier to criminals being in a bad area or a good area. A lot of times you say, oh, you know, stay out of this area because, you know, you're likely to get assaulted there. Well, you can also get assaulted in a really good area. And it's incumbent on you to protect yourself. And by you protecting yourself, you can also protect others as well. Am I in support of carrying a weapon? If that's what makes you comfortable and it makes you feel like you can protect yourself, then yes, because some people think martial arts is a weapon. It's just a weapon that is not, you know, a tangible weapon. It's something that's inside of you. Do what you can and do things that you need to do to protect yourself. Now, sometimes the jiu-jitsu that you do, it's not really going to protect you. And that's the thing that a lot of our videos are talking about. It's just be aware. If you're doing jiu-jitsu because your goal is to learn some sort of self-defense or be able to take care of yourself, because you're in shape training, right? Anybody who's fit and in shape has a better chance of warding off an assault than somebody who is not, right? If you're always training and it doesn't matter, you could be a football player. You know, you can defend yourself better than somebody who's a couch potato. If you're a soccer player, you can defend yourself better than somebody who's that couch potato. And the same thing with the sport BJJ. But just know that a lot of times with sport BJJ, your self-defense is not the main goal. It's a goal. It's not the main goal. It's something that could happen. I mean, you could then gain some skills or get your body in shape to the point where you could withstand a fight a little while longer. But it's not the ultimate goal. So we do jiu-jitsu because self-defense is the ultimate goal for us. People who carry a weapon, it's because their self-defense is a primary goal for them. You know, somebody who carries a knife, you know, how to use a knife, make sure you use it well. Somebody carries a gun, pepper spray and all that. If you can't just carry pepper spray and expect that it's gonna work, because you need to know which way the wind is blowing, because you could end up spraying it right into the wind and you end up getting shot yourself. You know, a lot of people are just uneasy with carrying weapons. So then do some sort of martial art, just so that you can help yourself feel a little peace of mind. Now, some states will limit your options with regard to what you can use as a weapon. For instance, a lot of states have outlawed baseball bats as a weapon. You know, you can use it for baseball, but if you go and create an assault with a baseball bat, that is now assault with a deadly weapon. You know, but so what some legislators will do is they'll think to themselves, okay, well, we've been having a rash of baseball bat deaths or assaults with baseball bats, so let's make the baseball bat illegal, right? Knives, same thing. But the most common one that people seem to want to outlaw are guns, rifles in particular, and in particular, the AR-15. You know, I know the laws have changed since I moved out of California, but I know one of the things that they would say is that if a rifle, an AR-15, has evil features, right? That could be like a pistol grip or a stock that goes in and out, that, you know, you can adjust the length for your arm. You know, some people have shorter arms, they put in close, longer arms, you put it out. I don't know.
Or not a bump stock, but an actual adjustable stock.
Yeah, an adjustable stock. That's an evil feature. Or a muzzle flash hider, that's an evil feature as well. It's just, people who are stupid, and people don't know the difference between a clip and a magazine, right? And they're just saying it's illegal, and they're trying to, I guess, stop your right to be able to protect yourself with that particular weapon. One of the things they do is they limit the round count in your magazine to 10, right? And I think New York might have limited to 7 by now, and I think Virginia is trying outright to just make gun possession illegal, and there's a big revolt going on over there. We'll see what turns out over there, but really, if you're at home, and if my family members were home alone, they know where the firearms are, and they know exactly what to do, and they've all been trained, and they still train on using the firearms. It's like I had mentioned earlier, it's a force multiplier, and I know pepper spray for some places is not legal to carry without going through a training class, and bear spray. Bear spray is the bigger can of pepper spray that shoots a lot further. Tasers, I'm sure, are not really legal in a lot of places.
Sometimes pepper spray and tasers don't even work.
Yeah.
They're not always that successful.
Yeah. But the point is that some places are more free, as we like to call it. For instance, when I went on a road trip with my family, I deliberately, it was a road trip, so we're driving everywhere, and I stayed out of particular states because I knew that the gun laws would mean that I would have to abide by some technicalities in their laws, and by being not aware of the nuances of their law, I could be arrested and convicted of a felony. So we just chose to not go into those states. So I like to move around wherever I can have a weapon on me and not be a felon. I just don't like being thought of as a felon, I guess. And just simply, live my life. And I know there are some states where they have what's called constitutional carry, where the United States Constitution says you can carry. But other states, you can't even get a license to carry. And if you do, you have to have a really good reason. Well, sometimes, for most people who get them in that particular state, the good reason is that they know the sheriff who happens to issue them. And if you don't know the sheriff, or you're not a buddy with the sheriff, then you're not going to get one. And it's just, we just have to do what you can. So whatever state you live in, for us that are Americans, and for those that are in Australia where guns are illegal, as in the UK, you're going to need to do what you need to do to protect you and your family. And something like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu or Common Jiu-Jitsu is a great tool to have if you can't have a multitude of tools available to you. So just try to look at your options, and don't be a criminal. I mean, don't do stuff that is not legal to do, but try to work with the law, and also try to get your legislators to change the law so that you can adequately defend yourself. Or some people just move to where they can, but I think that's a more drastic solution. Anyway, stuff to think about. That's all I got for you. Take care. Happy training. Bye-bye now.